Hi, I'm Christina Martin. I'm an acupuncturist and Chinese herbalist, and I'm here with my friend and colleague Bethany Richardson, who is also an acupuncturist and Chinese herbalist. And we are coming to you live from the Bay Area. So today we thought we would talk about menstrual issues. And, obviously this is something that women have to go through every single month.
That's right, and there aren't too many options available to us in Western allopathic medicine.
Yeah. So let's explain a little bit. Obviously, acupuncture and Chinese herbs can address a lot of issues that have to do with the menstrual cycle. But one in particular we'll talk about today is just that PMS, that premenstrual syndrome that happens.
Cramps, low back pain, headaches, constipation, loose stool.
So, and then emotions too.
Oh, yeah.
The emotional part, the irritability, the anger, the depression.
The weepiness.
Oh, the weepiness. So when we look at, I guess we'll break it down first. We only have about 5 minutes. But when we look at the emotional part of the premenstrual syndrome, we usually look to the liver organ. The liver organ is the one in Chinese medicine that gets out of balance quite often, whether it's due to unresolved emotions or a lot of times stress. We all have stress every day, every month, every year. It's not going anywhere. And so stress is one of those things that affects the liver the most. And so when you get emotional, it's the liver that's constrained, or it's stagnated, as we say in Chinese medicine. The qi just becomes stuck, and the liver, in a way, is supposed to, or not in a way, but is supposed to be in charge of the smooth flow of blood that happens during the menstrual cycle. And when it's sort of constrained and stagnated, it can't quite do its job, and so emotions start flying. Is that right?
Along with all the other side effects.
Yes. So in balancing the liver with acupuncture and herbs, patients usually say that they have much less mood swings, a lot more emotional balance overall.
Absolutely, absolutely. And some of the other techniques that you can use to deal with emotional mood swings is leading up to your period. Make sure that you exercise regularly, drink a lot of fluids, and eat healthier foods. Stay away from foods that stagnate. So carbs and sugar, of course, those are the things that we are sort of craving.
Yes, and what else do we crave sometimes during
alcohol? Alcohol is very bad for your liver.
It's very bad for your liver. And we're drawn to it because we're craving that release, or that kind of de-stressor. We want a mood regulator. But when we drink wine or beer or whatever it is, it definitely has an adverse reaction long-term on the liver.
Particularly during that premenstrual phase.
Yeah.
It's more potentiated.
Yes, absolutely. So what about menstrual cramps? We hear a lot about that, don't we?
Yeah, we do. So cramps are a way of, pain is a way in which your body is speaking to you. It's telling you that something's wrong. And we want to listen to that. And so if you're having serious or modest to severe cramps, it's important to listen to your body and do something about it. Taking a pill is maybe not the best answer. Basically, we want to get rid of cramps and sort of resolve the stagnation that's happening in your uterus.
Yeah. And exercise, as you mentioned before, is another great way to do that, because exercise is thermogenic, and it's moving all of that stagnation in the meridians and in the channels, and it loosens up the liver, makes it feel really good. Yeah. And then also, we were talking about earlier, if your menstrual cramps respond with heat. So if it gets better with heat, then you want to apply more heat, because that will bring more circulation to the uterine lining or the uterus to enhance blood flow.
And likewise, you want to avoid things that are cold, because so for instance, cold drinks, ice cream, that premenstrual ice cream is very bad for you. Will actually make your cramps worse. If you have a lot of raw food, for instance, if your cramps get better with heat, you want to maybe not have salad during your menstrual time as a main entree, or if you do, you have it with cooked food. Have it with cooked chicken, and combine it with cooked vegetables or chicken that's been cooked, and a nice cup of tea, particular maybe ginger tea.
Ginger or cinnamon is also really warming. You know, I also think about like the Indian herbs like cumin or turmeric, things like this. Curries are they have this thermogenic nature, is that right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. So what about headaches?
Yeah, headaches. So there are two different types of headaches. We have excess headaches and deficient headaches. Excess headaches tend to happen before the menstrual cycle.
Beforehand, when that constriction's happening and the body's trying to let go. And I always think of it as headaches in general, no matter why or what they are, is just sort of like the chi or the blood and the meridians that are going the wrong way. Just think of it like that. So when you're trying to have a menstrual cycle or your period is coming, energetically the flow goes down and out. But when you're constricted, now all of a sudden there's this flow that's coming up and causing pain or pressure or stagnation.
And a deficient headache often happens during your actual flow. So if you find that you're having fatigue and your headache happens with your flow, maybe it gets better when you lay down, or if you rub where it hurts. This is the typical signs of a deficient headache, meaning there's not enough.
Right, there's not enough resources, so maybe you might have other symptoms as well. So fatigue, you might have loose stools, you might feel cold all the time, and so when your period or your menstrual cycle comes and there's this release, it's sort of like it leaves you deficient less. So then there's a headache that comes out of that that's a little bit different.
Right. And to treat that, you actually need to start before your period. So you want to start eating foods that actually build blood, like lamb and red meat. Liver would be at the top of that list.
Liver.
Although we know lots of people don't like liver, but it's really good for you, of course.
And Bethany taught me today, actually, that there's a misconception that liver is just full of toxins, which is what I thought, but she said if it's organic.
Yes. So, yes, toxins do pass through your liver, but you want an organic liver. As toxins are passing through the liver, you also have the nutritional matrix to actually detoxify the body. So by eating liver, you're actually eating the nutritional matrix that will help you detoxify your body, which means get rid of the hormones that you no longer are using in the end part of your menstrual cycle where your progesterone levels are falling.
Right.
So this all helps and contributes, but you do have to start this ahead of time. So this one is a slow building up because it's a deficiency. It may take a few months of building up for this.
That particular headache. And we were also talking about chicken adobo earlier today too, which is cooked with vinegar, which ironically, let me back up a little bit, back the truck up, as they say, each organ in Chinese medicine has a different taste, and the liver's taste is sour, and so that vinegar would also generate the liver in a positive manner for your menstrual cycle.
Right. And if you happen to have difficulty digesting proteins, the vinegar in the adobo sauce would actually help a person digest protein. It increases the stomach acid, which is where where protein is digested in the body.
It's a beautiful thing.
It's a synergy.
Yeah. And bone broth.
Yeah, bone broth's a very big one.
It's big.
Very, very nutritious for the body and for women in particular, particularly women who've just given birth. But if you're somebody who has these deficient signs and symptoms, bone broth is your friend.
It's true. And it's really easy to make.
Yeah, just Google it.
Google it.
It's a little too much to go into in our little segment. But
maybe that's another segment. So what's next? Let's see. Digestive issues. We talked about, when your menstrual cycle is coming, we hear a lot of patients that say, oh, I get so constipated beforehand, and then as soon as the blood flow happens, then I have diarrhea. What's up with that?
It's that constraint.
Yeah, that constraint.
It keeps things from moving down. So
and then all of a
closer.
sudden, yeah, the body's forced to open up, the blood starts flowing, and unfortunately everything starts flowing. But if you talk about just the constipation, some great things to take for that from a Chinese nutritional point of view is like nuts and seeds.
Of course, prunes.
Prunes, of
Prunes,
course.
prune juice. All stone fruit would help. Anything with a
All stone fruit?
stone fruit. So, plums, peaches, nectarines. They have the stone seed in the center.
I'm always learning from her.
Yeah, so stone fruit, anything that has like a thin skin on the outside. So it's the skin that is actually helping us move our bowels. So that's really key.
Fantastic. And raw potato. If you're really constipated, I tell my patients to just take one small raw potato about the size of your fist, cut it into really small pieces, sprinkle a little bit of sea salt on there, and eat it before bed. And that should almost definitely take care of your problem
In the morning.
Yeah, not in the middle of the night. So,
and we were going to talk about actual points to
yes.
massage.
Yeah, you know, acupuncture and acupressure use the same meridian systems and the same points. So it all goes hand in hand. So massaging or doing acupressure on the points are, you know, just as good, you know, for short term. One here is large intestine 4. It's probably one of the more famous points. A lot of people know about this. So, you know, this can, and it's right here. I don't know if you can see that yet. If you take my thumb, it just kind of falls right into there, into the web. So that's a great point, obviously, to balance your large intestine, whether there's constipation or diarrhea.
It's also the control point for the head, so it's very good for headaches.
And it's very good for headaches, that's right. And it's also, from an imaging point of view, it images the uterus. Yes. So that's a fantastic point. There's also this one here, which is an extra point in Chinese medicine that we call zongguan. I don't know if I'm saying it right. But this is empirical for menstrual cramps. And you know, you can put it, you can use anything. You can use your finger. Try to find like a little sensitive spot right there and massage it out. Sometimes you can even use the end of a pen or a wooden spoon, something like that. Those are some good points. And then there's liver 3, which is actually on the foot, but we'll show you here. It's actually the mirror image of that large intestine 4 point. So if this is my big toe, and this is my second toe, it's right there in between the two as well. And so by massaging that, you're working on that liver organ, the wood element that's in charge of all of this menstrual madness.
And all 4 points, both large intestine points on your hands and both on your feet, are called the 4 gates in Chinese medicine, and that's a common point prescription that we often use to get things moving.
Yeah, yes, I forgot about that.
Opening the 4 gates.
Yeah, and they are bilateral, like you said, so that everything is on both sides. So, anything else to add?
I think that's good.
I think that's good. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this. We did. All right.